scouting report on TYLEIK Williams, 10th rated player at his position of defensive tackle in the country, number 5 rated player in the state of Virginia, top 160 player, and that's all according to the 247 Sports Composite. Of course, we're not going to diss Kevin's outfit. He can give us the metrics on TYLEIK Williams according to Rivals, of course, but that is the composite numbers on TYLEIK Williams, so pretty talented player, guys. I don't know who wants to jump in on Williams.
I'll jump in real quick just so I think Ohio State fans are going to like the 247 ranking of him better. We have him as a 4-star, but outside of the top 250. Some I know. I had nothing to do with it. I'll give you the emails of who to complain to. Some kids who end up playing defensive tackle in college or kids that are ends that slide in, they look at them, they're like, oh, you got a big butt, we can put some weight on you, and there you go. This kid truly is a defensive tackle, and you want to jump on those types of players when you can land them. Seems to have good instincts, strong kid. I think he is a solid pickup. It does create the question of what does this mean for Ohio State and Tywone Malone, a player who, at least in the Rivals Futurecast, 100% have him going to Ohio State. He is a top baseball prospect as well. So, I mean, he's a guy who could go early in the amateur draft and maybe just skip college altogether. Could be a two-sport type of guy. And, not trying to say anything that Ohio State baseball isn't getting it done, but it's not the same as SEC or ACC baseball. And, I think that people are probably a little less optimistic about landing Malone right now, but Williams is a huge pickup, not any sort of plan B. He very much is a plan A type of guy, real legitimate offer list out there. He can play. Probably not going to be a year one guy, but he'll get into that rotation pretty quick.
Yeah, it's just like a big nose tackle, basically, at a position where the Buckeyes have diminished their numbers of like true nose tackles and true defensive tackles, because as Kevin said, a lot of times they've just been bringing in big defensive ends and then growing them into 3-techs, which Larry Johnson likes to do. But you also need those big guys, the Devon Hamilton types, and I don't know if that's who this is here. The Tywone Malone, I think I saw. What's the lead? Mike from Rivals just put in a future cast for Ohio State with Malone like today, which I thought was interesting, given everything going on. And because once I saw Williams commit, I just assumed that meant Malone was off the table, and I know that's not necessarily the case. There's just when you have a guy like this, a big bird like this in hand, you take it. Malone is interesting. He's also, there's clips of him playing wide receiver as well, so that's another interesting guy to watch. But yeah, they've just gotten a little too thin, in my opinion, at defensive tackle. And so if you're going to load up, I guess this is the year to do it, because I still see JT Tuimoloau ending up a defensive tackle as well. He's a big defensive end. When you're already like 6'5", 270 or whatever, it's hard to imagine that you're going to stay outside. But Joey Bosa did it, so we'll see.
Yeah, I too am excited about the commitment. He had offers from everybody: Alabama, Florida, Florida State, Georgia, LSU, Virginia Tech, obviously they're in his own state. So Michigan, Michigan State, North Carolina, as I see here as well. So a guy, again, you can't have enough big guys who can run and make plays. And, obviously 330 pounds, I don't know how well he's going to run, but you can't have enough big guys that can make plays, particularly in a physical conference like the Big Ten Conference. You got to be able to win those battles up front. And when push comes to shove, and I think this is a guy with the depth situation, defensive tackle, that will really help the situation at Ohio State. They're down a little bit. Maybe one of the few areas on the roster where they're a little bit thin right now, but I think he'll help alleviate some of that as well. So, yeah, it's amazing. Again, another player from an area that they are playing college football, the ACC region, and he's coming to play in the Big Ten. He's going to play at Ohio State, obviously, and kind of debunk some of the idea that I'm not playing this season. was going to kill recruiting. Ohio State now back on top. They had briefly fallen below Alabama in the team rankings, which I don't put a lot of credence in all that. I don't worry too much about that. Just get great players and fill your position needs and go from there. So I think that this achieves a lot of those aims, no question.
Folks, I hope you realize what we have here each and every week with these three. Steve Hellwagon from Bucknuts 247 Sports, Kevin Noon from Rivals Buckeye Grove, Tony Gerdeman from Buckeye Scoop. Want to give each of you a few seconds just to talk about what you've got available there, where people can find you, any podcasts you're involved in, and so forth. Tony, we'll start with you.
Yeah, you can find me at BuckeyeScoop.com. I'm on Twitter at Tony Gerdeman, TonyGerdeman. I'm there roughly 27 to 28 hours a day. This weekend I'll be out going to go catch a Marysville football game to see a 2022 linebacker commit Gabe Powers play. And so we'll be doing some of that, and we'll be all over the state this weekend. So check us out, and we'll have video, interviews, and insights on our message board as well.
What you got for us, Kevin?
I'm at BuckeyeGrove.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Kevin_Noon. And we're excited about the start of the Ohio high school season. We're going to be charting stats of all the commits and major targets that will be playing this week. It's still kind of hodgepodge of who's going there and who's going and who's not in terms of high school seasons. I'm still really disappointed in terms of just good high school action that Jack Sawyer will not be playing this year, preparing for his mid-year enrollment at Ohio State. And, I would say keep it tuned in. A major Ohio State target, Bennett Christian, will be announcing on the 1st of September. Have a pretty good feeling about where he's going on that one, and wouldn't be talking about it if I didn't think it was going to end up well for the good guys.
There you go.
Steve, I see you popping up from time to time all over the place.
Yeah, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And actually, I'm going to a high school game tonight, but not in accordance with my job with Bucknuts. I help out the local newspaper here in Licking County, the Newark Advocate, and it's funny some of the scheduling quirks that came about when schools had to put together a quickie 6-game season. And Granville is playing a game against Waverly, which is halfway between Columbus and Portsmouth, and it looks like about an hour and a half, hour and 40-minute drive. And it's weird. I'm helping out the Newark paper and the Chillicothe paper, both Gannett newspapers, and I'm going to a game. No prospects at this game, Granville and Waverly, but both teams were second-round playoff teams last year, so it should be a fun game for me to go to tonight. And I do that, I'll be at Pickerington Central, who I believe has a Notre Dame commitment next week. Unfortunate, Pickerington Central, Pickerington North are playing on ESPN2, I believe, on Sunday, but no Jack Sawyer. Now, there are some younger guys, I think, at Pick Central that might be worth tuning in to check out. And I haven't decided if I'm going to try and hit that one yet or not. But any rate, I did a story today on our site about the options that people were given for their season tickets. You put your money down back in February and March, and then they cancel the season in July or August, and you have to make a decision what you want them to do with your money. And about half the people pushed their money to 2021. About 30-40% of the people asked for a direct refund on the spot. Only about 5 or 10% of the people agreed with Ohio State to allow them to donate the money, get a tax-deductible donation to the athletic department general fund to help them kind of bridge this gap. So, and I wrote the story and asked people for their responses, and the bitterness in some of the responses about what they decided to do with their money and why are just nothing short of hilarious. When you read some of the comments, donate my money to them. Are you crazy? That type of thing. I will not support the Big Ten. I will not support our athletic department that didn't stand up to the Big Ten. Just militant. They love Ohio State football, but they're unhappy with the process right now, no question. So I thought that was kind of a cool story that I put up today. Just some comments from anonymous people about what they did with their $1,200 or whatever it was for 2 tickets. Did they push it to 20? That my wife actually gets 2 tickets herself, and that's what we did. Is we put them to next year. So thankfully, in February or March, I won't have to write a check for $1,200 to Ohio State on her behalf.
We topped out around 115 on the line. Most of you missed about the first half of the show, so please check it out. The video will post in the next 15 or 20 minutes, and you get the insight and perspective on what's going on with Ohio State football in the Big Ten in this big battle that's being waged for football in the fall right now. Again, Tony Gerdeman, Steve Helway, and Kevin Noon, they're the very best. Hope you guys out there appreciate what we deliver each and every week, and it's all thanks to them. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend.